Since 1994, Jones Coffee Roasters has been serving Pasadena with fresh roasted coffee. Jones offers beans sourced from the family's farm in Guatemala, specialty drinks, and fresh pastries. Swing by and see why it's the best-kept secret in LA. Visit thebestcoffee.com to learn more and explore their coffees.
It's slightly controversial, but when I was a freshman in college, I convinced our college newspaper to give me a wine column, but I was 18.
Hi, welcome to Shut Up and Eat, the podcast about food, restaurants, chefs, cooking, and everything else we're obsessed with. I'm Cathy Irway.
And I'm Matt Gross.
We're both New Yorkers who love to cook, eat, travel, and write.
This week, we're talking to the chef and the owner of Lay, a wine bar in New York's Chinatown that just happens to be the best new restaurant in America, according to the James Beard Awards.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and sign up for our weekly newsletter, an essential part of this Shut Up and Eat experience.
Okay, let's talk about Lay.
My lovely sweet.
Lay won the James Beard Award for Best New Restaurant in America 2026.
Mm-hmm.
That is an insane achievement. You know who else has won Best New Restaurant in America? Alain Ducasse, Nobu, Kraft, Per Se, ABC Kitchen, Le Coucou, Franchette.
Right.
This is a serious group to be among.
Mm-hmm.
We're freaking out. Sure, they're freaking out. You're welcome to freak out too.
Because Lay is such a small, it's not even a restaurant. They call themselves a wine bar with food because the kitchen is tiny. There's 2 hot plates. There's maybe a couple dozen seats in the whole restaurant. And it feels like one tiny little room that you're just really snug and cozy in. It's very intimate. And it just has a different feel from a gigantic, restaurant with all the decor that they're building for all these big sort of restaurant group projects these days with giant kitchen staffs and all the bells and whistles, right? It
doesn't feel like some corporate owners set out and decided to create artificially the best new restaurant in America. Instead, it feels really natural.
And really personal.
Yeah, both as a wine bar and as a wine bar that happens to be in Chinatown.
It's so cool. And, the owner, Annie Shi, is no stranger to restaurants and really good ones, too. I mean, she opened King, Jupiter, and recently Dean's, along with the British chef Jess Shadbolt. And these are places in the West Village that have gotten a lot of acclaim, but they're Italian and British. So this is her first venture with the chef Patty Lee, and they're going with a Chinese wine bar theme, which we talk about. But it's just a different concept, I think, that the world has really seen before.
Yeah, I have to say, having eaten there, I realized in some ways I was waiting for this restaurant to come into existence for probably the last 30 years.
But you didn't know it, right?
I didn't know it.
Otherwise, you would have made it.
Well, I don't know. I just writing and talking about
Okay.
rather than, I'm not going to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
But although I guess if we did, we could call it Shut Up and Eat. But
be the quietest restaurant in the world.
I've been kicking around, New York's Chinatown for 30 years now, wandering, eating, living nearby for a long time. Chinatown was one of the first places I ever went in New York City when I was 10 years old and came here with my dad. It's always been such a place of fascination, discovery, and joy. And then to find a place that is doing really kind of pure and clear Chinese flavors and finding a way to make that work with an incredibly expansive wine list that covers the usual Loire Valley and California, but also ranges through the Iberian Peninsula and through Eastern Europe, and then out into Asia with Chinese and Japanese wines. And making that all work together is just incredible. It is absolutely special, and I sort of wish I lived back in Chinatown again so I could just pop on by whenever I wanted instead of having to, make a special journey all the way from Brooklyn.
Yeah, and it's on such a historic block of Manhattan's Chinatown as well on Doyer Street. So you've got Namwa Tea Parlor, just a couple doors away, and this is a spot in the part of Manhattan Chinatown that was like sort of renowned for like Chinatown gangs back in like the turn of the century.
It was a good place to get murdered or to murder if that's your kind of thing. But for most people, it was a place to get murdered. Or dim sum.
Well, it hasn't been like that for quite a while, but it's a historic part of Chinatown, and I think that there's a lot of pride in every sort of business that opens up. You get a lot of tourists, but you have a lot of folks who want to really embrace their Chinese American heritage. I know there's a huge like Chinese American young movement, like Welcome to Chinatown, a nonprofit. And so it's all about celebrating these historic places, but then you have newer owners opening up exciting new places to kind of keep Chinatown fresh and revitalized. So this is part of that, and it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just rely on the old historic places. Namwa reinvented itself several years ago. There's what is it, that Mabu Hong Kong Cafe, that really cute little Hong Kong cafe across the street on Doyers. It's so neat to see the oldest spot in Chinatown as lively as ever.
As lively as ever is right. Yeah.
And no gunshots or stabbings that I know of.
Well, fortunately, we had a chance to sit down and chat with Patty and Annie during a busy Friday afternoon leading up to service. So we're really grateful we got to sneak in there, poke around the kitchen, and chat with them.
If you could each say who you are.
And tell us where we are right now.
My name is Annie Shi, and we are at Lei.
My name is Patty. I'm the chef. We're here at Lei.
Awesome. So thrilled to be back here.
Yeah.
All right. So we asked everybody this question, every chef on the show, this question. If you can recall, what is your first cooking memory? Doesn't have to be in a restaurant, but your very first time cooking.
I was in 3rd grade, and I don't know why my parents let me do this, but I cooked Thanksgiving dinner.
Whoa.
It was crazy.
Wow.
Thinking back at it, I was like, that's 8 years old.
So what was the dinner?
It was turkey, and it was definitely very dry. Like the turkey was probably bigger than my torso.
Yeah, I was going to say, it must be a hefty bird to deal with.
Worked a lot, and I think they didn't conceptualize. They didn't understand Thanksgiving, and I was like, I think we should do this.
Oh my gosh.
And they let me cook it, and I'm sure they were doing things behind the scenes, or like later on when they got home, they were doing things behind the scenes. I'm sure I was not as hygienic as I should have been.
Hygienic, but that's still a big undertaking.
But it was turkey, green beans, and a can of like clam chowder. That
Ooh.
was it.
Honestly,
But-
that's like all you need. I'm not sure.
That's right.
I think like throughout the years, like we kept improving on it and added like sweet potatoes with a ton of orange juice and marshmallows. And it was great. I think a lot of it was learning from TV or like Martha Stewart, who's my childhood icon. But my parents didn't cook Chinese or like anything but Chinese food. So I think they were open to trying American food.
Right.
I'm saying that with mega quotes because I barely understood it too. I think it was just what I saw on TV, and I think that was my access to like American
Martha Stewart.
culture.
Well, it's so funny because one of my earliest cooking memories is also cooking Thanksgiving meal, because it was the holiday that like they didn't get. So like it was like a free for all. But I remember
the standards on the ground because there's nothing to compare to. So
I just remember making turkey at my aunt's in New Jersey, and I was supreming. Is that a verb?
Supreming.
Sure.
Supreming.
I was supreming like 3 types of oranges because I'd seen the citrus salad on Food Network. And like
God.
I was like 14 years old.
Your knife skills were probably pretty advanced by the end of that, though.
I know. I think the fact that you knew what a supreme was.
Yeah, I would have just made a pool of orange juice.
How many people were you guys cooking for at these times?
3 people.
3 people. Okay, so that's
Low stakes.
yeah.
Like 8 people. Still pretty low
Wow.
stakes.
And so wait, did you do that was in 3rd grade? Did you do 4th grade too?
Yes, I think we continued. But it
Wow.
was really great because my parents were really supportive from the jump. I think largely because it was just someone else putting food on the table. Like I don't know how my mom does it. She'll come home from working with my dad and they'll get home at 6 and she still busts out multi-course dinner and with veggies that she grew. Don't know how she pulled out the time to do it, but she always did it. And I think she was just stoked that someone else was like down to also jam out in the kitchen.
Did she ever enlist your help with like, I don't know, chopping, mixing anything, or was it all her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like where you get the most mom time or the most like mom quality time, that I think if you sought it out, the place to find her is in the kitchen. So if it just means like peeling veggies or cleaning stuff for her, it was never like instructed. I think you kind of just like, do it.
Right.
Again, just like wanting some attention. That's how you get it.
Now, I'm curious, you mentioned your mom and your parents only cooked Chinese food growing up, but and it sounds like your first meal that you cooked was a Thanksgiving, like in the American tradition. Was that like sort of your domain when you started cooking more, just like to kind of like show them, hey, I can also do this? Or
I just liked arts and crafts a lot as a kid. and I really saw like the Thanksgiving dinner as a project. Like to me, it didn't feel like I'm cooking dinner. It felt like here's this
this thing I learned about,
this like tablescape that we can create. I think I definitely saw it more as that and less as like I'm cooking and like putting food on the table. Like
A friendship bracelet you can eat.
Yeah, candy bracelets. But yeah, I think it wasn't. What was the question? I spaced.
Oh yeah, no, just the first cooking memory that you have. I mean, originally that was the question. Oh, but then I asked about, it was like American cooking, something that you sort of brought to the household or added to the like culinary offerings at your home growing up.
There was just not an opportunity to try it.
Did you like it?
There wouldn't be volunteer. No.
I didn't like it growing up either.
Cheese was a really confusing flavor.
Me too.
As a kid, like I think maybe pizza, like mozzarella, was tolerable because it's so mild, but I didn't like the orange stuff.
Sorry, Kraft mac and cheese you didn't like, or like real mac and cheese you didn't like?
Kraft, but that was like what was available in the suburbs, and like what I could wrap my head around at that time.
I liked it because I thought it was so strange, but
so neon orange.
It's not quite like a cheese. It's more a cheese product.
So it's safe to say we won't be seeing too many mac and cheese renditions on the menu at Lay anytime.
When did you start cooking Chinese food?
I think always too. Like it's so stupid. Like in my mind, I'm like the other answer was I cooked fried eggs.
Oh, fried eggs.
But like we'll eat that with like. The flair is like frying some scallions first and then throwing the egg on top and then drip some soy sauce.
Yeah. Throw it on a bowl of rice.
I know it's just fried egg, but that hits the Chinese food craving so easily, even without the soy sauce.
Yeah.
That like it comes down to like a technique sometimes for something to taste Chinese. That I really think that I have been cooking Chinese food from the jump. If it's not like boiling a hard-boiled egg too. I experimented a lot in eggs early.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
just the
eggs
basics.
is a good.
But you'll like bite off the top of a boiled egg.
Oh,
and
yeah.
pour a little sauce in the yolk and get really. I'll just like jam out my parents' fridge and pour all types of condiments in my boiled egg.
Wow.
I mean,
like
some
that.
things tasted really gross.
Like what? Well, like what? Like, are we talking about like black bean garlic sauce?
No, those taste like great. It's just like the things that would obviously taste gross, like cooking wine.
Oh my God.
I tried it all. I tried different vinegars. It was just so.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think it was the discovery that a boiled egg was a vessel for condiments. I was like, this is so cool.
The curiosity there is probably very helpful to a chef. Always tinkering, right?
What's your timing on a boiled egg? I'm curious. Like, did you work it out back then? Have you changed? Like, what's your precise timing for that? Or you just
I think I
Eyeball
always just threw it in and ate it.
I think the Chinese people love a hard-boiled egg.
Exactly.
So
it would
there's
never be
less
soft.
nuance.
Yeah.
In adult life, I like a 7-minute egg,
Yeah.
7.5.
Mm.
But yeah, they're like boiled to death.
So it doesn't really matter how long.
It has it's when the yolk turns gray.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It's
Then
when the
it's
yolk
perfect.
turns gray on the outside. Then
Oh, delicious. Yeah.
Okay, so we also wanted to ask Annie, since you are the
The wine side of things?
Yeah, sure.
Winier side of things?
sommelier
Yes, although-
extraordinaire.
The complete wines.
Yes, we can talk about titles later, but
Okay.
we have a wine director, Matt. So
Oh,
he
okay.
heads up the wine program day to day now and
Mm-hmm.
has for a very long time. So we can probably use restaurateur for my title.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So as a restaurateur of a wine bar,
Yeah.
do you recall what is the first wine you ever drank in a restaurant or bar?
Yes, it's slightly controversial, but when I was a freshman in college, I convinced our college newspaper to give me a wine column, but I was 18. And I
Breaking
convinced
the
them
law.
by saying that I was spitting the wine and it was tasting, like blind tasting.
Sure.
It was a blind tasting column. So that was my first interaction with wine.
So wait, you
sustained
hadn't
interaction.
drank wine before proposing this column on drinking and tasting wine?
I did drink in high school, but it was mostly malt liquor and
Yeah.
Mike's Hard Lemonade and Smirnoff
Okay.
Ices. My first taste of wine was for this column because they also gave you a budget to buy the wine. That was the thing that was really cool about it. And so I would host these little blind tasting circles, meetups with people, and we all would blind taste 3 different wines paid for by the college newspaper. And I would write about it.
I love that you grew up on malt liquor and Mike's and still had a sense that blind tasting was a thing. That there was a world of drinking wine and reviewing it and doing blind tastings. Where did that knowledge come from? Just from knowing that this column existed and you could do it? Or
I think I
TV?
always had I think I was always very curious about beverages. I think similar to Patty, we only ate Chinese food at home and my parents did not drink. The most my dad would have is a Bud Heavy with hot pot. So everything I knew about beverage was from TV or from reading. And I think I was just generally drawn to it. So yeah, I don't really know why I knew about blind tasting. I probably read an article about it at some point and thought it would be fun to replicate.
So fast forward, I guess, several years, you're a celebrated restaurateur. You've had the hugely successful Italian restaurant King, along with the British chef Jess Shadbolt. You guys recently opened together Dean's, a British pub as well. Lay is a little different than that. Why'd you decide to open a wine bar in Chinatown?
I have always wanted to open a restaurant that featured Chinese food. Before I met Jess and Claire, other founding partner, and before we opened King, that was the goal, was to open a Chinese restaurant. Along the way, I fell deeply in love with wine. I kind of was stuck doing everything because my 2 partners were chefs at King. I was just stuck doing everything that wasn't food. And often it was terrible things like being a plumber or trying to fix being a handyman or the financials of a restaurant that didn't know what it was doing. But wine was the thing that I loved that brought me joy. And so I got deeper and deeper into that. And so then over time it evolved into wine bar with Chinese food, partially because I always thought that it would be nice if people thought that wine tasted as good with Chinese food as it did with French food or Italian food. I sold wine all the time at King and everyone just thought it was a naturally brilliant pairing, but I knew in my mind that it could also work with Chinese food. You just had to think of it with kind of a curatorial or editorial eye. So that's where the dream of opening came. It was supposed to be a very small passion project. It was a very bootstrapped construction. All of it was very hand to mouth, but it's been kind of amazing to see the reception that the city has had for it.
Yeah, you guys have a cookbook out now too, so congrats.
Yes, the King Cookbook. Yeah.
I wanna delve into the wine with Chinese food angle for a second, because I mean, wine pairing can be challenging even with, traditionally wine focused cuisines. Just
grape wine, that is.
Yeah, grape wine with, Italian and French food. It's like as a diner, it can be intimidating to sort of come at this and know what you're doing. And then to do that with Chinese food, which is maybe not everybody's, most obvious idea of pairing, like how do you approach that flavor-wise on your side? And then how do you communicate the idea of how the drinks and the food go together to customers, to diners who might really not have a grounding in how these things are going to work?
I think that's something that we talked about a lot when we were thinking of the menu. There are obviously regions of China where the food is like very fiery and very mala and like very sour. And those flavors aren't the easiest to pair with. But you could say that about like any heavily spiced food, even, Calabrian chilies in the Italian tradition. I think it's just like from working, like I spent before Lay opened like 9 years immersed in Italian French cuisine, and there were so many similarities. Like I remember when we put pot au feu on the menu, I was like, pot au feu is just, I was like, I've had this dish. This is just like what my mom makes like when I'm sick. Like it is beautifully poached chicken with like lovely vegetables in a broth that I would have with a bowl of rice. Like not everything has a direct corollary, but there were enough of those moments where it just required like tweaking or like knowledge of the other side of things. With the Lay menu, we often are talking about sugar and the role sugar plays in a lot of the dishes. But I think broadly speaking, Patty and I are both more interested in the regions where it's a little bit, the flavors are a little bit fresher and a little bit milder. We're not, there's amazing Szechuan chefs, there are amazing Hunanese restaurants. Like we don't have a wok. Like we are an all-electric kitchen. Like those are not the cuisines or the regions we would be cooking anyway. So it's just being smart about how you like approach the menu.
Right. So Patty, I mean, when you were tasked with creating a menu for a Chinese wine bar or a Chinese influenced wine bar, what did you think? Like, was this a concept that resonated with you as well? Or was this a big challenge?
For sure with resonation. I think unwittingly I've been working towards a project like this for a while, just without that actual direction. I think I started off cooking. That's not true. I started off cooking in a yakitori place, but early on, like I started in kitchens that were like European, Italian, French. That's like, I think I was not leading with much direction. I think just going with intuition of like, this place feels good. I'm not doing it because I want to one day work at a Chinese wine bar. I think just like over the years, just kind of trying to dig deeper of like what my true interests are, that eventually I found my way back to cooking Chinese food. I spent some time cooking with Danny Bowen from Mission Chinese Food. It wasn't a direct like link of like, I want to start cooking Chinese food now. Like it was just like I was in the right place at the right time. I like got to know him and we started working together. But I think the more we cooked it, I think the more I got into using Chinese ingredients, the more like exciting it was to make connections with food that I really love eating in my personal life. Like I love cooking various types of food just for the sake of learning and just discovery is so fun. But I think even when you're cooking Chinese food, the discovery doesn't stop. Like the region, the cuisine and the culture is so vast. I think even just recently we're spending more time shopping on East Broadway versus this part of like the more
Chinatown,
touristy or like the more like main
Central Chinatown versus Lower Eastern Chinatown.
Yeah.
It's more like Fuzo dominated on that side, and it's like totally exoticism on my end where I'm like, this is so foreign to me. Like yesterday we had potato balls that were so crazy that like the learning doesn't stop with Chinese food, which is so exciting. It goes with every cuisine, I'm positive.
And I love that you're saying that even just within New York City, right? Like you
even
can
just
continue,
within New York City, like it's been really fun. Every time you discover a new pocket that's been like unturned, it's the most exciting thing. It makes you fall in love with the city and the cuisine and the culture all over again.
Is there a dish on the menu now that's like an example of something that you didn't know, that you hadn't tasted, hadn't thought about, and had to like discover in order to create it for the restaurant?
I think yesterday I was telling Lucas, I was like, I just had these potato balls and they're amazing. He's like, you should put it on. I'm like, no way. Like, they already make it. Like, why would I do that?
Oh, right. Yeah, they perfected it.
Potato balls is such a good wine bar snack, dude.
Are you talking about like sort of the gummy, sort of like sweet potato, like
It's the
crazy.
savory. It's like a
savory.
It was savory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Savory, not sweet. Okay.
I know.
Mhm.
The filling is just like fuzo yuan. Like the filling is that porky, saucy filling, but it's wrapped around this potato. It's definitely made with like fresh potato.
Huh.
It's not just potato starch because it's like what I want gnocchi to be, but it's better.
That's brilliant, actually.
No, I was hoping to buy some before this. I got locked in the computer.
I'm going to get some on the way home.
Yeah, I'll tell you where.
Is it under the bridge?
Incredible.
Or is it?
It is very close under the bridge.
Do they still have
I have the name of the spot.
Okay, I'll check it out. I love the neat ways that potatoes show up across China and the different things.
Yes.
Like the sort of the Sichuan sort of raw shredded potato thing.
I'm working on one right now.
Have you had the guizhou? Essentially like steamed potatoes with like bacon and Sichuan peppercorns like wrapped in omelet.
No.
It's like
You just
Irish, Chinese,
I was just gonna
Sichuan.
say, you
It's
literally
so
just
good.
That's
so good.
It's like a jacket
Meat
potato
potatoes.
meats.
It is. It's just
Hash
like you
brown.
just like you chop up the potatoes and you steam them and then you cook them in like pork and Sichuan.
My favorite
great.
is the thinly sliced with the vinegar and green pepper. So good.
Good news. I'm
Blanched.
working on that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
My grandmother
With
used to make
tendon.
that.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Looking for a new place to unwind in Pasadena? Visit the Crush Pad at Jones Coffee Roasters on Raymond. Enjoy curated wines, craft beer, and fresh kombucha with charcuterie, warm pretzels, and pizza. Live music and DJ vibes in a relaxed atmosphere. Gather with friends and discover your new favorite spot. Visit thecrushpad.com for current selections, events, and hours.
Okay, can we talk about your Taiwanese American background as well, Patty? Because I've noticed like a few Easter eggs, or actually some overtly Taiwanese dishes, like in the past, like the 3-cup chicken you once had, and there was also a great like snack, kind of like cai dan. That's like the dried radish omelet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot. And
Okay,
it made me think
great.
of like, also it's kind of like a Spanish tortilla español a little bit, like,
Yeah.
you know, a classic wine bar tapas food. So I'm just curious, like, you know, how much of your Taiwanese heritage do you put into your cooking? And is that something you'd like to, you know, infuse Lay's menu with from time to time?
Totally. Absolutely.
Those are such throwback dishes.
I know I can't believe it's been a long time since we haven't seen the omelet. But no, totally. I mean, I think it's a personal menu. I think same for, I think Annie would say the same too. Like, it's pretty personal. I think that's part of the fun and the agency that I'm very happy to have here. It's that we're not so tied to a specific region or like a specific, like the parameters here are largely like space,
Yeah.
energy, like in terms of like how much like cooking. It's really limited to our like physical constraints of the space, and less so with really specific, like I'm
Region,
really
yeah.
excited to explore different Chinese like dishes from like northern China, Shanghai. Like,
Yeah, I noticed there's
I
a
want to
xiaobing on the
travel
menu.
so much more and learn more. I think that's a huge opportunity in this position right now. In terms of like adding Taiwaneseness, it's less a conscious thought and just like a natural inclination of just the foods that I yearn for, like the ingredients that I have always had in my back pocket that I've been excited to use, like cordia seeds, which we were featuring on a crudo for a little bit, like pupozi. Like it's like a tree olive that you get in Taiwan, and they're brined, usually in like a
usually on
steamed-
fish, right? There's a lot of those steamed fish with that.
Exactly.
Kind of like keepers, right?
Kind of like
Yeah.
capers and olives.
Like a lovely sweet umami flavor to them.
That's another thing I love about your menu is that there's so many interesting vegetables and plants throughout the menu, and they're often prepared in really interesting and like clever ways, like your celtuce salad, which I think is one of your signature dishes. For those who may have seen images of it, it's very striking, like kind of translucent spring green blocks of celtuce sitting in a pool of fuchsia vinegar.
Yeah.
How did you guys come up with that one?
I think it slowly started from cucumber salad or like just like a fresh crunchy thing. I think Annie definitely, I think.
Who wanted celtuce?
I did.
You did.
I think it's one of the unsung like heroes of Chinese vegetables. But we were saying like a lot of how we thought about the menu was we didn't want to compete with neighborhood restaurants. And so
Thus,
cucumber
no potato
salad,
balls.
there's so many great cucumber salads around Chinatown. So like why would we put another one on the menu? And then we talked about celtuce, and then Patty came up with that dish, and it was like clearly going to be on the menu. And now I don't know if we're ever allowed to take it off the menu.
Yeah, it's a bestseller, right?
Locked in.
I see everyone taking a photo of that one.
We should ask, like, what is, since we're talking about this, your signature dish, what is the ideal wine that goes with that one?
I think so many things. I think what is so nice about Patty's food is that the flavors are really fresh and like they're not overpowering. So you have the mellowness of that red vinegar, but then there's also this like really lovely fresh textural crunch, and then that slippery kombu jelly. And so any white wine, any sparkling wine, like the way we approach wine, which is the way I've always approached wine at King, at Jupiter, at any of the restaurants, is that rarely does a person want a single glass of wine to pair to a single dish. Like, we're not a tasting menu spot. People want a bottle of wine that carries them through their meal. And if that's the way you're thinking about the menu, then it should be any number of things. So it gives our SOM team a lot of room to play with. Like, they can pick their favorites. There's so many different things that will taste great with the celtuce. Even a light-bodied red could be great with it. Like, it really is about not overpowering the wine.
Amazing. I mean, so okay, by the way, for those listening, we're surrounded by just bottles and bottles of wine, which I love. The whole restaurant is like the wine room.
Yeah.
But I have to say that, it's really exciting to see you guys helping spread. So, China is obviously a home to a rich culture of wines and spirits made with grains like rice and sorghum. But in only just like the last decade or so, it's also become a grape wine growing region, and has really emerged with like a number of fantastic grape winemakers. And we're now getting to enjoy them stateside thanks to restaurateurs like yours and China Wine Club and other like distributors. But so what do you love about this Chinese wine right now?
Well, it's really funny that you mentioned China Wine Club, because I actually met Camden in Shanghai in 2019. And back then, I mean, she's a restaurateur in her own right in Shanghai. And we stayed in touch. We met through a mutual friend, and she had started talking to me about like wanting to import these Chinese wines because she was going and visiting these growers. And it just was so serendipitous. She landed her first shipment. It was massively delayed because of tariffs, because of everything going on, COVID, blah, blah, blah.
Man.
It was really dicey. And then it like arrived and was released end of April, and we opened beginning of June. So it was incredible because we were able to like debut with a lot of her wines in China Wine Club. We were able to have Ian Dai, one of her like, I feel like he's a central figure in the kind of garagiste Chinese wine movement. He like consults and helps with a lot of winemakers and then makes his own wines from different regions. He was able to come and like pour by the glass special and like say hi to people. We're about to pour for the very first time in the US this incredible Yunnan producer that his wines aren't available in the US yet, but he's making high elevation wines in Yunnan, planting, high density, just like really incredible winemaking. So it's been really fun. I feel like this was, I don't know, I've been wanting to open Lei for so long, but I kind of feel like everything happens for a reason. And like if we had opened any earlier, like these wines wouldn't be available. And I feel like the story wouldn't be as complete without them.
Right. Do you think that one day Lei could just have wines from China? Grape wines, that is?
I think what makes Lei's wine program really special is like the endless curiosity for wine. And so our list is extremely global. So not just Chinese wines, we have Japanese wines. We have wines from Mexico, South Africa, Greece, like Chile, like all over the world, in addition to all of your blue chip Burgundy and Champagne producers. And that's what makes Lei fun. Like a lot of people come to us to hear what the Somms are loving, what's new, what's exciting, what's a new producer that they haven't heard of. And I think that's a really cool place to be.
Amazing.
I've been sort of roaming around Chinatown here for about like 30 years, and it's never been like a bar place, right? There was Winnie's for a long time.
There still is Winnie's.
It is, but it's not the same. That old
There's
place.
that Peachy's place.
Yeah, there's like a few new places here, Peachy's, Chinese Tuxedo, but I'm wondering like, what does it mean to have a bar here, right? Is that a conscious, like, this is a place with a
why
long
Chinatown?
history? Yeah.
I think I really struggled to figure out what about like my identity as a Chinese American kid like made sense, because it felt wrong to call us a Chinese wine bar because we're not like of China, right? Like I haven't spent a ton of time there. Like it's not like we started there and moved here. Chinese American, sure, but also like that didn't feel quite right. And I think when I started looking at Chinatown, I was like, oh, this makes sense, because we wanted to be complementary to the neighborhood. And I think in Chinatown, there's so many great restaurants, but your meals are not super long. And if you're trying to have a night out with friends or you're trying to do a date night, you can like be at Great New York Noodle Town and be in and out in like 45 minutes. And it's like, well, where do you go after that?
Yeah.
And how do you keep people in the neighborhood longer so that they're spending more money within the community and not like going to the Lower East Side for a drink and then like going somewhere else for dessert? So people come to us for dinner for sure, but we also love the people who start with a glass of wine here and then go do their like bang, bang, bang around Chinatown. Or we have some folks who like will do a light bit of grocery shopping, pick up roasted meats at Hey Hey, and then come here for a bottle of wine and then go to dinner and then go home. Or there's just so many great uses. And I just love that we're a part of that.
That's awesome.
That's
now I need to come here after dinner maybe I'll get a spot.
Yeah.
All right. So should we do a quick little kitchen show and tell?
You ready?
You're gonna have to
walk us
take
all
the lead.
the way around the kitchen.
Okay.
It's going to take you 5 seconds.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess very quickly, this is it. Literally, this is our walk-in, our sink, our dishwasher, our Francisco, our Brian, our Jamie, and our Julie.
Hey everyone. Thanks for letting us butt in here. Wait, so you guys make your own mustard greens? Pickled mustard greens here?
Yes. Luckily,
Nice.
it's the easiest of the Chinese pickles. As my mom she's like, you get it together. I called her for a long time, like, how do we make this? The confusing part about looking up a recipe online is that because China's so vast, you're gonna get 10 different people that are calling themselves cooking true, authentic Chinese food.
Of course.
Coming from different regions, some regions will add chili, some regions will add garlic to this ferment, and others will just do salt.
Right.
So it always gets confusing with all the noise, and no one's wrong.
No.
But I think ultimately you just have to make a decision, like, which one am I, or which one do we want to represent? So I think calling my mom really whipped me into shape. She's like, get it together. Like, this is the easiest one. You can't fuck it.
That's so funny.
So it's just salt.
Okay.
The hardest part is what Brian's doing right now, which is killing your wrist.
Oh yeah, squeezing the
it out.
juice.
But if you don't squeeze it out well, it either is over salty or it's still too astringent.
I think we need to ask about
The Costco
the Kirkland
rotisserie
signature
chicken.
seasoned rotisserie chicken.
Very proud Costco shopper here. They're great. They'll deliver day of, which is very difficult with purveyors. Their fee's pretty low. It's technically through Instacart, but you're not paying evil Instacart, which is great. And they have $5 rotisserie chickens. That's
Best family meal have.
Oh, family meal. Okay, good. That's
That's what I figured.
wait till the James Beard people hear about this.
we're doing Chef Kirkland.
I shouldn't say stuff like that when she's got a whole rack of knives within arm's reach.
I'm a proud Costco shopper. They have great prices. We love ordering, but yes, this saves us for family meal.
Is there a fun ingredient you want to point out? I see a lot of spices right here. Green Szechuan, red Szechuan, coconut, salted plum.
Keep going.
5-spice, smoked onion. What is smoked onion?
Where?
Is that a powder?
Where?
Smoked onions, right there. Oolong. I'm sorry.
That was from a pop-up collab that we did.
How do you like your 5-spice? Do you like more anise forward? Do you like more cinnamon or cassia forward?
Yeah, do you have a special blend?
I feel like that's one thing that you shouldn't taste one thing more than another. I think this is a good example of the internet has so many competing opinions about what the 5 spices are. Annoyingly, you would think that it would just be a consistent thing with something called 5
Right?
spice.
5 spice, yeah. No.
But I think it's controversial whether or not sand ginger makes it in there and whether or not Szechuan peppercorn makes it in there. I think those two are the ones that
Outliers. Okay.
flavor, but we just do it all. So it's actually a 6 spice. But it's all about finding the balance so that you're not tasting one thing over the other. It should work harmoniously.
See Taiwanese wheat dough over there.
I was like, this is
That, the gaoliang and the wheat dough. All right, good.
maybe that will be the fun ingredient that we're gonna to feature.
Can you explain what this is for the record?
This one is gaoliang jiu from Jinmen in Taiwan.
What's it made from?
Sorghum.
So,
And it's
so
really,
animal
really
feed.
high. Animal feed?
Animal feed.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think this is a great one as someone that doesn't really drink. It's so fragrant. It's the basis
smell
of
it?
some.
What do you use it in here?
Right now we're using it on the pork sausage, which is an homage to the Taiwanese pork sausage. My favorite flavor is the sorghum liquor or the gaoliang flavor one. And I think typically Chinese people, we cook with wine and liquor less about acidity and so much more about masking. In Chinese, it's xingwei. It's like muskiness. Oftentimes in fish, the fishiness or pork, porkiness or just kind of that gamey flavor. You work to mask that or control it with wine or liquor. So you'll always find cooking, if you're working with protein, it always says marinate in a little liquor or a little wine just to help with that.
Cut the richness a bit.
Yeah, and just kind of help. It makes food taste more fresh because
Yeah.
it takes off some of the stink.
A little floral. Yeah. So we play this little game with every chef. It's going to be called Chef versus Robot. So
No, this will be great. We're gonna throw at you guys 3 ingredients
that we picked randomly.
We picked randomly, semi-randomly.
But I kind of think these ones
These will work for you. And we want you to take a few seconds to think and then come up with a dish that
Just to
uses all
describe.
3.
Oh no, this is gonna be chopped.
You can use other
yeah,
ingredients as well.
you know,
This is not
requirements.
just these 3, but it has to incorporate all 3.
Yeah, like chopped.
like chopped in your mind.
And
Yeah.
we would, because you guys are a Chinatown wine bar, we're going to ask you to pick a wine to go with it as well. It could be a general wine. It could be a very specific wine. It's up to you. And we're going to ask this of each of you separately. And we are going to do something special. Well, once we get the results from you guys, we're going to take those ingredients and give them to our robot better known as ChatGPT, and see
Oh,
what
this
it
one
comes
is
up
Claude.
with. Oh, sorry, Claude.
Okay.
Like there's a difference.
We already asked our friend Claude what
So-
what they did.
And then the listeners of this podcast can go to our newsletter and subscribe to that, and then vote on the winner.
God, this is horribly humiliating.
I have a feeling you're going to do just fine. I am not so worried.
We didn't give you too weird of ingredients.
Yeah, these
this
ingredients
time.
are good.
Cheese,
And now,
turkey.
so to determine
Mac.
who goes first, we're going to give you guys a trivia question, and the winner can decide whether she goes first or second. All right.
Okay.
Are you ready for the trivia question?
Okay.
Are you guys ready for everything?
So bad at trivia. Okay, yes.
No, I think maybe this will be good.
Well,
Do you
there
wanna
can
ask?
only be one
This
winner.
one?
We can't-
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
All right. According to a 2019 Eater article, how many Chinatowns are in New York City?
4.
Eh.
In New York City.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many Chinatowns? You don't have to name them all, but if you can.
Well, Sunset Park, Flushing, historic Chinatown, where we're at. I'm going to guess 5. But I don't know what the other 2 are.
Eh.
Yeah, we'll give you guys the answer.
There's 9 according to them. Well, there's Brooklyn has Sunset Park, Bensonhurst, Homecrest. Queens has Flushing, Elmhurst, Little Neck, Forest Hills,
Oh.
And Manhattan
and Long
has-
Island City now
Yeah, and Manhattan
is
has
part of that.
Long Island City is so
Yeah.
Chinese right
Yes.
now.
It's
It's
amazing.
insane, but it's like BC Chinese.
Okay.
I know.
And then
A lot of our
Manhattan, don't
regs
forget
live-
the East Village, which is
Oh, that they made that one.
I think all those restaurants around like St. Mark's and
But there are
Third
like a lot
and
of
Second.
Japanese restaurants.
And a
That
lot
was
of
like
Vietnamese.
historically
You got,
Japanese, but
Hunan Slurp.
in my mind, I
and
actually grew up in
the
Arrigo
Sichuan
Park,
Mountain
Queens. I
House
just
and just all
think
those
of
like
Elmhurst. I
ex
just
NYU students
group that all to Flushing.
just sort
Yeah.
of settled around there.
yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
the case. Clinton Hill in Brooklyn is very
Wow.
Chinese too. It's all the rich Chinese kids
All
that
right.
go to
Oh my
prep.
god, that's so funny.
Should we give them a
Okay.
different question? That so you
Sure.
can
What
get it right?
was
We're going to be here for a long time,
Very
guys.
controversial.
okay, what this street, Doyer Street, was famously the gang murder capital of Chinatown, and what was its nickname?
Bloody Angle.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Okay,
you
Patty.
win. You can decide
Got it.
whether you want to go first with the chef versus
Wait,
robot
are we
ingredients.
having Patty do the dish and then Annie does the wine pairing?
Do you guys want to do
That
that?
seems like the obvious.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
that's
Then
okay.
Don't make me do the wine pairing.
Well, I guess Annie can't do the wine pairing without the dish first. So,
yeah. So
okay,
I guess you're gonna
sorry.
go first.
You have to
just you got it right, and you told us that you want to go first. So our 3 ingredients.
Right. Drum roll. Sichuan peppercorns, tin sardines, and ramps.
We figured we would go with the trendiest ingredients.
I'm supposed to build a dish with these 3 things.
Yes.
Tin sardines. This is gonna go so poor. Like I'm gonna take forever. Don't do that.
What? Oh. Can I help? No, I can't.
I think you
I
guys
mean,
can
yeah, if
collaborate.
you guys
Come on.
Would
If
you
that's
go
how you
pate,
collaborate.
or would you keep the sardines whole?
I would keep it whole. Or you would go pate.
Well, would you grill the tin sardines, or would you keep it would you do anything to it? Because they're so soft.
I'm not a fast thinker, if you can't tell right now. That's why this is just a crippling project here.
How about while she thinks, why don't we think about the wine, since you sort of got some of the basic flavors there. The deep fishy flavor of the sardines, the numbing of the Sichuan peppercorns, and the sort of juicy,
Funky, oniony.
So-
funk of the ramps.
I know, I'm immediately thinking southern France, because that strong allium flavor, that kind of floral lift of peppercorn, and then something fishy, that just takes me to Provence. One of my favorite producers from that region is in Beau-de-Provence. It's Dominique from Domaine Ovette. She makes incredibly beautiful wines, and she makes this fantastic rosé that has so much texture and depth and the longest finish. And there you'd probably see allium in a rouille on a bouillabaisse. Then you would have the fish, and then you would have the peppercorns, kind of an outlier. But I can so see how the wines made for that kind of food would fit this dish.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That was inspiring.
I know. I mean, I couldn't focus because I was trying to focus on my answer. I think a food that I've been thinking a lot about lately is something you had for breakfast, which is that chive pocket. Where in so many ways, it doesn't have to be about, I'm a veg head, so it's going to be so much more about the veg. That usually that's how a dish comes up first. Like I'll be excited about a pepper or like the chili crab was all about the ahi dolce pepper and less about the crab. It always starts from that. So from this perspective, to keep it very lay centric too, it's about the ramps, the trendiest ingredient ever, and using like sardines or the fish to kind of flavor that or like act as a supporting actor for that. In which case, like a ramp pocket would be so luxurious.
Ramp box.
Yeah.
A ramp box.
Yeah, because there's
But-
usually shrimp in the
Yeah, I was going to say instead of the dried shrimp.
The shrimp is acting as like the supporting act. It's not about, you're not getting a big mouthful, or that would be so tasty in my mind. Like
I
a
like
big
that.
mouthful.
Okay,
of
so ramp
ramps.
pocket.
Which a pocket in this case, for those uninitiated, is just it's an empanada, it's a dumpling, it's a like whatever you want to call it. It's a dough that's wrapped around usually a shit ton of chives, some dried shrimp or dried fish, a little bit of vermicelli noodles. If you're vegetarian, it would be egg.
Yeah, definitely egg.
But some type of protein, but like usually the seafood ones play like a dominant flavor. I think just like lifted with some of that Szechuan peppercorn would be great.
I like that. I would
Oh
eat
my
that.
gosh,
Yeah,
that sounds
that's what I want.
delightful.
I didn't have breakfast today, so I would really like that.
I don't
for
think Claude
breakfast.
is going to come up with a chive
Okay,
pocket.
no.
No, I don't
No.
think so. What did chive?
He came up with a toast.
Boring.
I know.
Yeah, sardines on toast with blistered ramps and Sichuan mala oil, which obviously, like,
Bold, numbing.
Technically our
meats,
ingredients
funky,
are not
small
different. We
plates.
also went bread water or flour water.
Yeah.
but yours is
But it's like 90%.
Yeah.
95% ramp.
like I gotta say,
Yeah.
It would be a $30 chive pocket.
Right.
like putting things on toast is not inventive.
So the sardines are garnishing the ramps, whereas here the ramps are garnishing the sardines. So
Yes.
that's a little different.
Yeah.
And would you like to know the wine they came up with?
Yes.
Okay. They
Yes.
Claude, AI said an Alsatian Riesling, specifically a Verdun Tardive style, if you want to lean into the richness, or a standard Alsace Riesling, if you prefer something drier and more electric. They
Sure.
actually pointed out some specific bottles. Trimbach Riesling.
We have that here.
Okay. Domaine Weinbach Riesling Cuvée Theo. And Zindhumrecht Riesling.
Yeah.
You got that one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, so not bad, but not as good as
Lots of
the
thoughts, but yes.
Okay.
Try some. It's a thought.
Okay, that's it for Shut Up and Eat. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our newsletter and killer merch at shutupandeat.com. That's Shut Up and Eat, not Shut Up and Eat.
This episode was edited and produced by Matt Herrero at H Industries. Our executive producer is Peter Chang. Graphic design by Matt Timms. And our theme song is Birthday Cake by Chipo Mato.
Okay, till next time, shut up and eat, everybody.
No, you shut up and eat.
No, you shut up and eat.
Okay, thanks. I will.
My love is sweet.